everyone, my name is Artina McCain and I am coming to you from Memphis, Tennessee, where I'm the coordinator of the keyboard area. I teach chamber music, piano pedagogy, and applied piano at the University of Memphis. And I am so excited to be coming to you from the Artist's Bench. This is a wonderful series hosted by the Francis Clark Center. And today I will be talking about two works by Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson, his Scherzo and Toccata. Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson was an amazing American composer. He lived from 1932 to 2004. And I think he has such an interesting story behind his name. He is named after the Afro-British composer Samuel Coleridge-Taylor. Now, how did this come about? How did he get this name connection? Well, Samuel Coleridge-Taylor was really an inspirational figure for African-American musicians in the early 20th century. And he was quite famous in Europe amongst all musicians, but because of racism and segregation, he really had his strongest impact in America over Black musicians. So at the beginning of the 20th century, he came through on several tours, and Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson's mother heard him. Now, she was a musician herself, and Samuel Coleridge-Taylor was going to different churches, different African-American churches, and sharing his music with them, and this high art that they were so excited to be associated with. So Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson's mother named her son after him, and quite a fortuitous decision because he became a prolific composer himself, just like Samuel Coleridge-Taylor. Now, Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson was fluent in both European classical styles and idioms from the African-American musical culture. So he studied at NYU and the Manhattan School of Music, but he was also very interested in jazz. And he collaborated with the likes of Marvin Gaye, Max Roach. He played in his piano quartet from 1964 to 65. And he collaborated with Harry Belafonte. Now, not only was he able to marry both European classical styles, African-American idioms, but he also wrote for ballet with the Dance Theater of Harlem, Alvin Ailey, and film scoring like Montgomery to Memphis about MLK and Warm December featuring Sidney Poitier. So he was so prolific in so many styles, and actually that's one of the reasons I was immediately drawn to him, because I also identify like this as well. I love so many different genres, and I like Black American music, both the popular genres, the spiritual, the gospel, and our contributions to European and Western classical music. Before Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson died, he actually was affiliated with the Center for Black Music Studies, and also was a composer in residence for Ritz chamber players. So I'm thrilled to be talking about two of his pieces, the first one being Scherzo, and the second one being Toccata. Now, both of these pieces are fantastic, virtuosic pieces for players who just want to add something big to their repertoire. Scherzo is about 10 minutes long, and the Toccata is shorter, so I like to use it as maybe an opening to a program or even something to close. The Scherzo I came about maybe 8 years ago. I was looking to expand my repertoire. At the time, I was really sort of becoming interested in more Black composers, and I wanted something that I could teach to students who wanted to do competitions, and I also just wanted a big piece for my own program. So the Scherzo did all of that for me, and I'll include the entire work at the end of this discussion. So the Scherzo is in two main sections. From the very beginning, Coleridge-Taylor Perkinson introduces this material and he uses it throughout the piece. I'll play just a little bit of that opening so that you can hear it. And then when you hear the larger work, you will be able to hear how he uses this motif throughout. material that he uses throughout the work, and he uses it in so many ways. He likes using notes from the blues scale. He also turns that into a fugue after the slow section. So it's quite hair-raising to hear the piece in its entirety. So the slow section is dark and it's particularly moving. I'll play just a little excerpt so that you can hear what it sounds like. Now there are several things to consider when you're playing this particular section. For instance, I love that he marks a portion of it left hand only. So you really have to be able to carry a melody and a line with your left hand, which so many composers do, right? When they write for specifically left hand only. And also he has this singing melody on top of the left hand. So I'll play just a small section so that you can hear that. Isn't that section gorgeous? And it continues like that. It's absolutely beautiful music.